Imagine this. It's 1975. Your dad just filled up the family station wagon for 55 cents a gallon. Your mom packed sandwiches in a cooler because there's no McDonald's for the next 200 miles. You and your siblings are fighting over who sits by the window, while an 8-track tape of the Eagles plays Take It Easy for the third time. There's no GPS, no smartphones, no seatbelts in the back seat. And your family is about to drive 12 hours to the Grand Canyon with nothing but a paper map, a road atlas, and pure American optimism. This was the golden age of the American road trip. And if you think today's road trips are an adventure, you have no idea what families went through in the 1970s. Buckle up, or don't, because in the 70s, nobody really did.
Let's start with how you even planned a road trip in 1970s America. Today, you open Google Maps. Back then, you walked into your local AAA office like you were planning a military operation. The AAA agent would hand you a TripTik, a personalized flip book of maps with your route highlighted in yellow marker. This was your custom navigation system. But here's the thing, these maps were often outdated. That scenic route through Colorado might be closed for construction. That cute diner in Kansas? Closed down 2 years ago. You wouldn't know until you got there. Families would also collect tourist brochures from rest areas. See the world's largest ball of twine. Visit reptile gardens. Mystery spot. Gravity doesn't exist here. These weren't just tourist traps. They were the destination. Because when you're driving 14 hours with 3 kids in the back of a Chevy Impala, you need that giant roadside dinosaur to look forward to. The planning took weeks. Your dad would spread maps across the living room floor like a general planning D-Day. Your mom would make lists. And you kids, you just knew you were about to have the adventure of a lifetime.
Now let's talk about the cars of 1970s road trips. Forget your compact SUVs and minivans. The 70s family road trip vehicle was the station wagon, specifically the kind with fake wood paneling on the sides. The Ford Country Squire, Chevrolet Caprice, Dodge Monaco, these weren't just cars, they were land yachts. These beasts got maybe 10 miles per gallon if you were lucky. They had no air conditioning, or if they did, it barely worked. But they had space. The back had a wayback, a rear-facing seat where kids would sit and wave at cars behind them. No seatbelts, no airbags. If Dad slammed on the brakes, you became a human projectile. And the bench seats. 3 kids crammed in the back, arguing over the invisible line down the middle. "Mom, he's on my side!" This was a 12-hour battle zone. The car also became your hotel room sometimes. Families would pull into a rest stop, recline those bench seats, and sleep right there. The way back of the station wagon, that was a kid's bedroom for the night. Just throw a sleeping bag back there and you were golden. Oh, and smoking? Dad's smoking with the windows barely cracked while you're sucking in secondhand smoke for 800 miles. That was just normal.
Here's something wild. In the early 1970s, gas stations were full service. You didn't pump your own gas. An attendant in a uniform would come out, pump your gas, check your oil, clean your windshield, and check your tire pressure, all for 35 cents a gallon. But then came 1973, the oil crisis. Suddenly, gas prices doubled. Lines at gas stations stretched for blocks. You could only buy gas on certain days based on your license plate number. Odd numbers on odd days, even on even. People would wait in line for hours just to fill up. Imagine planning a cross-country road trip during this. You'd have to calculate not just where the gas stations were, but whether they'd have gas. Families carried extra gas cans in the trunk, which was super safe, obviously. The national speed limit was dropped to 55 miles per hour to save fuel. Signs everywhere said 55 saves lives and gas. Your dad, who used to cruise at 80 miles per hour on the highway, now had to slow down. This made trips even longer. But Americans didn't stop road tripping. They just adapted, because the open road was in the DNA.
Food on a 1970s road trip was an adventure in itself. Your mom packed a cooler, not one of those fancy Yeti things, but a metal Coleman cooler filled with ice that would melt by hour 3. Inside, Bologna sandwiches wrapped in wax paper, hard-boiled eggs, maybe some fried chicken if you were lucky, chips, warm soda. That was lunch. But the real treat? Stopping at a roadside diner or a Howard Johnson's. Howard Johnson's was the road trip restaurant chain. Those orange roofs were like beacons of hope. They had 28 flavors of ice cream and the same menu at every location. Fried clams, hot dogs, burgers. It was predictable, affordable, and tasted like freedom. Or you'd stop at a local diner, the kind with a blue plate special and a waitress named Marge who called everyone Hun. These places had the best pie. Your dad would order coffee, your mom would get the club sandwich, and you kids would get grilled cheese and milkshakes. Fast food was exploding in the 70s too. McDonald's was everywhere. But it wasn't like today. There were no drive-thrus on the highway. You had to exit, find the McDonald's in town, and eat inside, which meant your dad would resist stopping for as long as possible. "We have food in the cooler." "But Dad, I want a Happy Meal." "Happy Meals don't exist yet." True story, Happy Meals weren't invented until 1979.
Now, how did families survive 12-hour drives with no screens, no Wi-Fi, no tablets? Entertainment in the 70s was creative. Music, the 8-track tape player. Your dad had maybe 6 tapes total. Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Eagles, Chicago, maybe some Johnny Cash. You'd listen to the same songs on repeat until you wanted to jump out of the moving car. If you were fancy, you had an AM radio. You'd scan through static trying to find a station, and for 20 miles you'd get clear signal. Then, static again. Somewhere in the middle of Kansas, you might pick up a radio evangelist or a farm report. That was your entertainment. Games. The license plate game was huge. Who could spot plates from all 50 states first? You'd keep a list. Seeing a Hawaii plate in the middle of Nebraska was like spotting a unicorn. I Spy could last for hours. 20 questions, someone thinks of something, everyone else asks yes/no questions. Simple, effective, free. Slug bug, punch your sibling when you see a Volkswagen Beetle. This caused injuries. Books and comics. Kids would bring comic books, Mad Magazine, or those choose-your-own-adventure books. You'd read until you got carsick. Then you'd stare out the window for 4 hours. Sleeping. Honestly, sleeping was the ultimate entertainment. You'd pass out in the backseat, wake up in a different state, and ask, "Are we there yet?" The answer was always no. Where did families sleep on these epic road trips? Motels. Roadside motels were everywhere, the kind with neon signs that said vacancy or no vacancy. You'd pull in after dark, Dad would go to the office and pay $12 for a room with 2 double beds. The room smelled like cigarettes and Pine Sol. The TV had 4 channels, the ice machine was down the hall, the pool was questionable at best. But to a kid, this was a luxury hotel. You had a bed that wasn't a car seat, there was a vending machine with candy, the Bible in the nightstand drawer had a picture book about Jesus. Holiday Inn was considered fancy. If your family stayed at a Holiday Inn, you were living the high life. Camping. Many families camped to save money. KOA campgrounds were the go-to. You'd rent a spot for $3 a night, set up a tent, and cook hot dogs over a fire. RVs were becoming popular too, those big, boxy Winnebagos. Your rich uncle had one. The rest of you had a tent and a prayer that it wouldn't rain. Campground bathrooms were an adventure. Communal showers, spiders, the smell of bug spray, and campfire smoke. But sitting around a campfire under the stars, roasting marshmallows, telling ghost stories, that was the magic of a 70s road trip. The destinations of 1970s road trips were iconic. National parks, Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, these were the big draws. But here's the thing, they were less crowded than today. You could actually find parking. You could get close to geysers and waterfalls without fighting through crowds. Entrance fees were like $2 per car. Today, $35. Roadside attractions. This was the golden age of weird roadside America. Families would drive hours out of the way to see the world's largest ball of twine, Kansas, Wall Drug, South Dakota, free ice water, Cadillac Ranch, Texas, the Mystery Spot, California, dinosaur parks with fiberglass T-Rexes. These weren't ironic or kitschy yet. They were real attractions, and families loved them. Historical sites. Mount Rushmore, Colonial Williamsburg, Civil War battlefields. Parents used road trips as education. We're going to learn about America. Kids just wanted to see the gift shop. And everywhere you went, there were postcards. Families would buy postcards and mail them to relatives. Greetings from the Grand Canyon. Wish you were here. No Instagram, just a 10-cent postcard and a stamp. every road trip had to end. The drive home was always quieter. The excitement was gone, everyone was tired, sunburned, sick of being in the car. Your dad would push through trying to get home in one shot, 16 hours straight, fueled by coffee and cigarettes. Your mom would navigate with the map, occasionally saying, "I think we missed the turn." You kids would sleep in a pile in the backseat, finally too exhausted to fight. And then finally, you'd pull into your driveway, home. The car would smell like a mix of fast food, gasoline, and sweat. The cooler would have suspicious liquid at the bottom. Someone would have lost a shoe somewhere in Nebraska. But you'd have stories and memories and a new appreciation for your own bed. Road trips in 1970s America were chaotic, uncomfortable, and completely unpredictable. There was no GPS to save you when you got lost, no smartphones to entertain the kids, no online reviews to tell you if that motel was a nightmare, no Spotify, just 8 tracks and AM radio static. But here's what they did have: adventure, freedom, family time, whether you wanted it or not, and a sense that America was yours to explore. Those families didn't just survive those road trips, they thrived because the journey was the destination. Every wrong turn, every roadside diner, every night in a questionable motel, it was all part of the story. Today, we can drive cross-country with climate control, GPS, streaming entertainment, and fast food every 5 miles. It's easier, more comfortable, more predictable. But ask anyone who road tripped in the 70s and they'll tell you those were the real road trips, the ones where anything could happen, and usually did. So the next time you're on a road trip and the GPS loses signal, or you can't find a good restaurant, or the kids are fighting in the backseat, just remember, your parents survived the 1970s with nothing but a paper map and a dream. You'll be fine. Thanks for watching. If this brought back memories or made you glad you weren't born yet, leave a comment below and hit subscribe for more time capsules from American history. Safe travels.